So y'all, we got these giant crosses in the other day, and I could not wait to play with one. Y'all, they have this brown wire that comes with the cross, and it basically just sits right into this little divot. And then we just secure the wires together. In the future, if you guys make one of these, I think I might shoot some hot glue on that crossbar before putting these together. That way you know for sure it's not gonna move, right? Like, I might see if I can get a little bit of hot glue and this crack right here on both sides, but I'm not desperate enough to like take it apart and try again, right? But if I would have thought about it beforehand, I probably would have slathered the hot glue on this piece and then push this piece down into it. All right, y'all, I'm thinking we're gonna add a little bit of these, I don't know what they're really called. We always called them elephant ears when we were little. So y'all, I'm thinking we're gonna go with the sunflowers, and then I'm gonna go with a smaller bush out the top. That way it's not heavy all the way around, right? And then we'll have the lighter one going towards the top. Then I was thinking we would cut a few of these off to kind of work just a little bit throughout to give it just a little bit of a different color variation in there. And then I also grabbed just some regular greens to fill it in just a little bit. So let me get this out of our way. All right, so I'm gonna go with this neutral. Let's get us a pretty decent tail. All right, and then just a 6-inch loop. Right, and we're just gonna do the basic 3, 2, 1. So 3 loops on the bottom. All right, so we have our 3 loops on each side. Now we're gonna go 2 and just slightly smaller. And then we'll do 1 on both sides. All right, we're gonna double our pipe cleaners. Y'all, I'm thinking I'm just gonna run this around and then tie it off on the back. Now, y'all, the only reason that I was able to wrap it that way is because I know my stems are gonna come out this way and out the bottom, right? I am going to trim this down with the stem cutter. All right, so we've got that worked in there. So now we're gonna go to the top corner, and we're going to trim that as well. All right, so this is our smaller sunflower, and we're gonna come out the top with it. All right, now see how these flowers are pretty close into the bow? I am going to move my loops around a little bit so that I can pull some of these flowers and greeneries, that's a cool word, right? Flowers and greenery into the bow. All right, let's get these 2 tails under control. I'm going to get this trimmed down a little bit, and then I'm gonna work it around the back where you kind of see the little tips of it, but we don't want it to overpower are sunflowers, right? I am bending all of these twigs so that the leaves show, because y'all, it's off of a bush, right? So all the leaves are sticking up randomly. So I am getting this curve in my stem. That way, when I shove the stem into the cross, the leaf is sticking up the right way. All right, now on this spot right here, I might try to get one of these leaves just right here on top of these bright greens and underneath that bright yellow sunflower. When I'm looking at this design and I'm picturing that someone is going to see it face forward, right? Whenever I look at these flowers, which I really like the color to go with this pattern, look how all the leaves are. See how all the leaves go straight up and they're not like sideways or at an angle? Look at the difference. And these two, let me move this out of the way. Look at the difference in how these leaves sit and how these leaves sit. Okay, see how these will work. So this one's really long, so I'm gonna try to get it coming out the bottom to extend the length here a little bit. Someone asked, why is it sometimes that I put glue on before and sometimes after? Well, after you burn yourself a lot of times, you'll realize like if you're about to put your finger in danger or not. So in this case, I couldn't see exactly where my hand was going into the project. So the chance of me burning my fingers increased like 200%. Down here, I was able to clearly see where I was going and putting the stem in. So the danger of burning my finger was a lot less. All right, now I'm gonna cut one of these stems into smaller pieces and work it up here into the top side of my bow. I want it to all look very natural, right? Like this bow has been hanging out on this cross for a year and the greens have just completely grown through and taken over. If you're gluing stuff into your bow, what I always want people to think of is like, all right, let's say that these are your two bow loops, right? Your goal is to get this really, really soaked in glue, and then you put it between the two loops. That way you have glue on both sides of the ribbon holding it in there. You don't want to just get glue on the tip and then like put it on one ribbon. It always needs to go in the crack. If you notice, whenever I put mine in there, I like to, you know, spread that bow out, and then I try to get the tip of my plant as far down into the crease of those ribbons as possible. Oh, you know what? We have those sticks. Let's use them. All right. The nice thing though, y'all, is this exact same design that we just did. If you didn't have a cross, wouldn't it have looked just as good on this grapevine wreath? Could you picture that same design sitting on a grapevine wreath right here in the corner? So although we did this one on a cross, you can repeat exactly what we did over and over again on other designs. Same concept, right? We could have easily did one down here, and one up here with our bow in the center. Right? Added our greenery, and how fast would that be? Right? Same concept over and over again. Should we just make it since we're already done? So I'm gonna make the bow real quick, and we're gonna remake the exact same design on a different project. So this side, y'all, looks nice and neat. This side looks a little distressed, right? So I'm gonna add my bow over here. All right, so we got our bow. This is our larger sunflower base. Get her nice and fluffed out. All right, so I will also tell you guys, like, this for me is what I like to consider a multiple, right? So I would suggest that you walk in to your local Michael's or your local Hobby Lobby and you see what kind of plants that you really like that look nice and full like this, that you can always get. That way you don't have to have, you know, 20 of these in stock. But you know in the back of your mind that anytime you need one, you can just run out to the Hobby Lobby or Michael's and get them. All right, so we're gonna work this one. Also, if you notice, when I do grapevines, I always try to keep the bow either all the way at the top corner or all the way at the bottom. That way, whenever we add in our main pieces, all right, so this is a 14-inch oval. Watch what happens when we add this piece into the bottom. We just added a whole nother foot to the size of our wreath. Look. This is where the grapevine stops, and we just added all this extra length. Y'all, if it looks bigger, you can sell it for more money. So we've got our bottom one in there. Let's go in with the top piece. Let's get our greens and flowers pulled in a little bit, just like we did a while ago, right? We want to get those loops. Then we added a little bit of whatever this was. The purple plant, y'all. All right, so remember that we just want the tips of the project showing, right? And y'all, it's all about getting that layered effect, right? So I've got a little bit of begonia showing here, sunflower, leaves, ribbon, begonia, right? And then it's about that triangle pattern. So if this is the starting point, then we want to get one out here and one somewhere over here, right? Y'all, we always say it all the time in this group. What I really, really want you guys to learn is an overall technique that you can apply over and over again with multiple styles and colors and different pieces, because all of us are talented, right? And we all like something a little bit different. But if we can all learn different little techniques that we can apply to our own taste, y'all, we'll have thousands of ideas to work with versus just one design, right? So if you look, 1, 2, 3, And it's in a triangle pattern, right? My sunflowers, I tried to arrange them 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? I'm gonna use the rest of these little greens that we had left over from the first project. All right, so this started out with a 14-inch oval, and now it is about 25 inches. So that was project number 2. This was project number 1. Y'all, and if you wanted to make this more spring, why couldn't you throw in a few little smaller flowers, right? I personally don't. I want to leave it looking like this, but we could have taken little dainty pops of color and added them throughout to give it more of a summer or spring color, right? Put in some bright blues for a fun summer, or some red roses if we had them. We could have mixed in a few of these bright red pieces. Y'all, for some reason, a lot of people do sunflowers and red in their kitchens. Right? We could have mixed flowers and not just had the sunflower pieces. This is 2 for 1 tonight, I guess.